وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Ramadan Mubarak. How was everyone's first day of fasting this year? Or for those of you who've never fasted, how was your first day of fasting, official fasting, in the blessed month of Ramadan? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from us and from you. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Alhamdulillah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's easy. It's always relatively easy. Has some work to do. I don't really like working too hard during the month of Ramadan. But alhamdulillah, it was good. Not too difficult. Such a busy day, I didn't get a chance to read as much as I would like to have. But inshallah, I'll try to get some reading in after we conclude our session. Bidnillah ta'ala. Okay, now we're going to enter into the chapter dealing with the rulings of wudu. The rulings of al-wudu or ablution. Wudu or ablution. Purifying yourself in order to perform the prayer and so on. يقول الله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. الآية. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, O you people of faith, O you who believe, when you stand for prayer, when you are ready to establish the prayer, then wash your faces and your hands up to the elbow. Wipe over your heads and your feet up unto the ankle. up to the ankle. فهذه الآية الكريمة أوجبت الوضوء للصلاة وبينت الأعضاء التي يجب غسلها أو مسحها في الوضوء وحددت مواضع الوضوء منها ثم بين النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم صفة الوضوء بقوله وفعله بيانا كافيا. So this noble verse obligates the wudu for the prayer, and it clarifies the parts of the body that should be wiped or washed in the wudu. Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Habibi Walid. Now, and it specified the places or the spots therein. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he clarified the mechanics of the wudu, the description of the wudu with his speech and his actions, a complete and satisfactory clarification or sufficient clarification. اعلم أيها المسلم أن للوضوء شروطا وفروضا وسننا فالشروط والفروض لا بد منها حسب الإمكان ليكون الوضوء صحيحا وأما السنن فهي مكملات الوضوء وفيها زيادة أجر وتركها لا يمنع صحة الوضوء. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. نعم. وتركها لا يمنع صحة الوضوء. So it is a must that you know, O Muslim, that the wudu, it has conditions, it has obligations, and it has acts of sunnah. It has conditions, obligations, and acts of sunnah. As for the conditions and the obligations, then it is a must that they be present as much as one is capable, so that the wudu will be correct. As for the sunnah aspects of the wudu, then they actually they add to the wudu. They perfect the wudu and they increase وَفِيهَا زِيَادَةُ أَجْرٍ, and they increase the ajr. They increase the reward. The reward is increased with the acts of sunnah. And leaving off the acts of sunnah in the wudu, it doesn't prevent the correctness of the wudu. So some of the acts can be left off if there's a need to leave it off, and it won't affect the correctness of the wudu. And that as it relates to the sunnah or the sunnah aspects of the wudu. فالشروط ثمانية وهي, and there are 8 conditions. And just so we know, a condition in this sense is that which necessitates the presence of which necessitates the establishment of the ruling. But now, alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A condition or sharat is that which its presence necessitates the presence of the ruling. But it doesn't necessarily mean that when it's present, that the thing that's being ruled has to be enacted. So, in order for a person, condition, whatever you intend to do, and it has conditions, the conditions must be fulfilled in order for that thing to be correct. You have to fulfill all of its conditions in order for that thing to be correct. But having the conditions, all of them or some of them, doesn't necessitate that you have to enter upon the particular action. Like, for example, you need to have wudu in order to pray salah. So, wudu, tahara, purification, is one of the conditions of salah. So in order for you to establish the prayer, you have to have wudu. You have to be pure. But being pure doesn't mean that you have to pray. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Being pure doesn't mean that you have to pray. So just because you have conditions for a certain action doesn't mean that you have to come with that action. But you have to have the conditions if you want to establish that particular action. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. It was good for us. Idris, how was it for you? Oh, that feels good. MashaAllah. Okay, are we clear on the shurut, and the conditions for wudu are 8. And they are, number 1, al-Islam. The person has to be a Muslim. Al-Aqlu. A person has to be sane. At-Tamyizu. A person has to have reached the age of discernment. Number 4, an-Niyya. The person has to come with the intention. فلا يصح الوضوء من كافر ولا من مجنون ولا من صغير لا يميز ولا ممن لم ينوي الوضوء بأن نوى تبردا أو غسل أعضاءه ليزيل عنها نجاسة أو وسخا. So the wudu, the purification or the ablution of a kafir or a crazy person, a person who has lost their mind, is not complete. It's not acceptable. It's not correct. Nor is it correct from one who is young or a small child until they reach the age of discernment, right? Until they're able to distinguish. Nor is it from one who doesn't have the niyyah. He doesn't have the niyyah for wudu, meaning the wudu that's necessary for purification in order to perform the acts of worship. Like, for example, if one was to make wudu and he intended to refresh himself on a hot day. He wants to make wudu on a hot day. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please forgive me. Let me check back with my phone people and make sure they're present. Okay, now the conditions, once again, the conditions for wudu are 8. The conditions are 8. Number 1, a person has to be Muslim, sane, has reached the age of discernment, has the niyyah. No wudu for the kafir or the one who is insane or the one who is young and hasn't reached the age of discernment. Right? Neither for the one who intends other than wudu, like the one who wants to refresh himself on a hot day. So he goes and gets cold water and makes wudu therewith. This is not sufficient in order to establish the acts of worship. أو غسل أعضاءه ليزيل عنها نجاسة أو وسخا, or washing those parts in order to remove impurities and dirt. Now, a person can combine between the niyyah. If a person wants to clean himself up and at the same time perform this ablution with the right niyyah, then that's okay, as long as the niyyah for worship is present. The niyyah for worship has to be present. So that's a condition. So, like we mentioned, just because the condition was there or the conditions were present, it doesn't necessitate the permissibility or the establishment of the thing that is being ruled upon because of the niyyah. Right? So in order to pray or read Quran or make tawaf around the Kaaba or whatever one wants to do that requires he be in a ritualistic state of purity, then the conditions have to be present. But just because a person comes with the conditions, it doesn't mean that that person has to pray. Because a person makes wudu, it doesn't mean that he has to pray or that he has to make hajj or that he has to read Quran. No, he doesn't have to. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nakir. Sister, you said intentions. What do you mean by intentions? Okay, wait for you to type. We're going to move forward. ويشترط للوضوء أيضا أن يكون الماء طهورا كما سبق فإن كان نجسا لم يجزئه ويشترط للوضوء أيضا أن يكون الماء مباحا فإن كان مغصوبا أو تحصل عليه بغير طريق شرعي لم يصح الوضوء به. وكذلك يشترط للوضوء أن يسبقه استنجاء أو استجمار على ما سبق تفصيله. نعم, niyyah. The niyyah is the intentions. The niyyah is the intention. A person has to have the right niyyah or the right intentions. Now, okay. So, it is also conditional for the wudu that the water be pure. That the water be pure. Some of you missed the early portion of fiqh when we went over the different types of water. You can probably refer back to those videos, or we can do them again later. Right now, I don't think that that's a real big issue right now. We can go back to it, or someone can ask me and I can refer them to those recordings. But the water should be pure. The water should be pure. And if it is najis, lam yujzithu, then it would not be permissible if it was impure or filthy. And also, the water should be permissible. It should be permissible. So it should not be water that was acquired by illegal means. If it was acquired by illegal means, someone stole it or they purchased it with haram money or something like that, then it wouldn't be permissible to make wudu with this water. And also, it is a condition for wudu. Like we mentioned before, making sure that one cleans himself properly after relieving himself or after answering the call of nature. And we discussed the ahkam of that in detail. فيشترط للوضوء أيضا إزالة ما يمنع وصول الماء إلى الجلد فلا بد للمتوضئ أن يزيل ما على أعضاء الوضوء من طين أو عجين أو شمع أو وسخ متراكم أو أصباغ سميقة ليجري الماء على جلد العضو مباشرة من غير حائل. Also, it has been stipulated for the wudu that anything that will prevent the water from reaching the skin must be removed. So it is a must for the one who is performing wudu that he removes from the body parts, the places of wudu, anything, whether it be mud, wax, dough, paint, thick paint, nail polish, so on and so forth. Anything that prevents the water from reaching those areas, any barrier, has to be removed. وأما فروض الوضوء وهي أعضاؤه فهي ستة. As for the obligations of wudu, and it is the body parts, and they are 6. And just to mention a little something about this issue of removing the things that prevent the water from reaching the skin. We know any type of thick oil, or maybe even shea butter or cocoa butter, or filth, dirt, mud, anything that needs to be removed in order for the water to seep through, it has to be removed. And as it relates to fingernail polish prevents the water from reaching where it should reach, so it has to be removed when one wants to perform ablution. Also, it is from adornments and additional beautification, something that the person uses to enhance their beauty. And if a person was to do this, then they should cover their hands. They should cover their hands. Makeup on the face as well. If the makeup on the face prevents the water from reaching the face, then it should be removed. Now, and we're going to get to that. Barakallahu feek, Dani. Inshallah, we're going to get to that. Yep. So, whatever is preventing the water from touching the skin must be removed. And like we said, nail polish is permissible for the one who has wudu until it's time to renew the wudu, or for a woman who is on her menstrual cycle. Likewise, makeup and things like that. If a person wants to, a woman wants to beautify herself to that extent, then she should cover herself. She should cover her hands and her face anyway. But if she beautifies herself, then she should cover the places that she beautifies. Women who wear henna, even a lot of jewelry, anything that draws attention. Because the hijab is not just an article of clothing. It's a mentality. It's a methodology. It's a belief system. Right? So a person can put on all black or whatever color, wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, cover herself up. You can't see nothing from her body. And this is proper and this is correct. You should not be able to see a woman's body. So women, you cannot help the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you. You cannot help the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you, but you can control, you can help how you carry yourself. If you know that you may be a little more meaty than some other sisters, for lack of better words, then don't bend over in front of strangers. Be careful when you shop. Don't bend over, squat down. Use your knees, not your back. Don't let that jilbab become a sundress. And if you're wearing eyeliner, lipstick, or whatever the case may be, henna, nail polish, then cover that stuff up. Cover it up. It shouldn't be seen. Be careful how you walk. Be careful the type of shoes that you wear. They enhance your natural beauty, your structure, right? Remember, when the woman goes out, the shaitan, he gives her a sense of a certain type of feeling. He beautifies her and makes her feel a certain type of way. And she should be mindful of that. And she should always be mindful of how she conducts her affairs. You find some women, unfortunately, who wear everything. You look at them, mashallah, tabarakallah. Mashallah. Definitely no high heels. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Rahima. So, a woman is blacked out. Alhamdulillah. And this is not a discouragement. She should black out. But she shouldn't be obnoxious, talking loud, rude, disrespectful, not mindful of her speech and the way she conducts her affairs. She shouldn't be too friendly with strange men or even strange women. You're talking to a woman, but she's with her man. And you don't have no hayat. You don't have no shame. You embarrass yourself and you make it hard for the Muslim women who want to be respected and treated like a Muslim woman. So hijab, modesty, is from Iman. Hayat is from Iman, like we mentioned. And a woman should be modest. What you wear is important. We have a dress code. But how you conduct yourself while you're in that attire is what's important. It's what's important. It's like when people say, for example, a woman has morals or she's a lady or whatever they say, but yet she wears skimpy clothing or revealing clothing, slut type clothes. But then she doesn't want to be spoken to that way or treated that way because she feels a certain way about herself. She wasn't brought up like that. Then people only deal with you according to what they see. People deal with you according to what you display. If you're showing your body, if you're exposing your body, then there are sick people, right? People who fear Allah, they lower their gaze. So it don't matter what you wear. We're going to lower our gaze and we're going to fear our Lord. But there are some people who don't fear their Lord. There are people who set out for that. People who have sick minds and sick hearts, right? They abuse women. This is what they do. You should be mindful of that. So likewise, when you see a woman half nude, then you know that, or you assume that she's a woman who doesn't have any modesty and she doesn't care about the way she goes about. 1 second. Man, you don't know how to open the door? Please forgive me. I got an incompetent doorman. Now, so a woman, although she's covered, it says one thing on first sight, but as soon as she opens her mouth, as soon as she starts to move, then all of that goes out the door. It goes out the door. So she's actually, I can hear you, she's actually thrown that protection from herself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded her with something in order to protect her and preserve her dignity and her honor, and she threw it off from herself. She threw it off from herself. So the hijab doesn't mean anything to her, even though she's wearing it. She opens her mouth, she starts to move, the way she interacts is totally inappropriate. Totally inappropriate. So the hijab is more than an article of clothing. It's more than just clothing. It's a mentality. It's the way that you behave. It's the way that you think. It's connected to your haya, which is connected to iman. Now, none of that. Everything should be simple and plain. Everything should be simple and plain, and it should be clean. And if you have nice things, wear nice things. But they shouldn't be attractive. The whole purpose is to divert attention from you. The people are going to notice you. But when they see you that way, they know or they assume that you're a pious woman who has fear of your Lord and who don't want to interact with people who are not permissible for you to interact with. This is what they assume until you open your mouth. Huh? How many Muslim women do we see? You look at their profile picture, and mashallah, tabarakallah, veil, jilbab, gloves, maybe even the eyes are screened, but become her friend, and her pictures are a mess. Everything is a mess. A'udhu billah. Hey, could you lower your voices, please? Upstairs. Of course, sisters are struggling, brothers are struggling, we're all struggling. But we have to know what's right and what's wrong. Because how are we going to rectify the things we struggle with if we don't know that it's wrong? A lot of people don't understand or don't know that what they're doing is wrong. They think that it's okay because they see other people doing it. I've had lots of people, from my children to friends, neighbors, students. We have classes, we sit down and we have discussions, and they say what? Listen, walk down the steps, please. Don't run down the steps. I'm recording live. Right? And they say they went to the masjid and they saw women with their toenails polished. Please forgive me for the distractions. The people, I don't think that they understand. They're not doing it intentionally. They just so happen to come in, but please forgive us. Now, they see people doing this, saying that, wearing this, wearing that. We have to always remember our example is the Prophet ﷺ, his companions, which include his wives, his daughters, his sisters, his cousins, his nieces, everyone who was related to them, the wives of the companions. These are who we should take as examples. Not the people today, not me, not the people you see in the masjid. We take the Prophet ﷺ and his companions as examples because this is who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to take as an example. Plus, they're dead and gone. So all of their virtue has been established. All of their virtue has been established. As for the people of today, you'll find them this way today and that way tomorrow. A'udhu billah. So we should make dua to Allah to keep us upon correctness. And make dua for those who've strayed away. And ask Allah to bring them back. Because it's serious. Because you don't want to die on disbelief. You don't want to die on disobedience. Just like you don't want to get caught or pulled over dirty. Right? No one wants to get pulled over with suspended license. After being already warned. Right? So you get pulled over driving under suspension while you're on suspension after being seen prior to that because you had the same offense. So you do everything you can to avoid those interactions, even though neither you nor those officers have any control over that affair. But you make sure you tie your camel in that instance. But here it is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees everything for sure. We know for sure that Allah sees everything and we don't pay no attention and we don't care. We don't care. Coronavirus. Everyone is trying to protect themselves from something that is either inevitable or not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed what's going to happen to us. It's already been decreed, yet we protect ourselves. But people are more concerned about this dunya and the physical things that affect us and not the spiritual things. You're protecting yourself from death, from sickness, right? But what happens if you fall sick or die? Are you protecting yourself from that meeting? Are you protecting yourself from the meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are you guarding and safeguarding your prayers? Are you being mindful of your speech? It's Ramadan. Are you fasting? Are you staying away from food, drink, physical pleasures, and bad speech and bad behavior? Come on now. Let's get it together. Let's be realistic. Now, you can pay attention to, I see Hanif is online, and I see him answering questions, so that's good. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh shadid. Okay. So, the places of wiping, the places that you wipe and wash in the wudu are, or those things that are obligated, are 6. أحدها غسل وجهه بكماله ومنه المضمضة والاستنشاق. المضمضة والاستنشاق. فمن غسل وجهه وترك المضمضة والاستنشاق أو أحدهما لم يصح وضوءه لأن الفم والأنف من الوجه. والله تبارك وتعالى يقول فاغسلوا وجوهكم فأمر بغسل الوجه كله. فمن ترك شيئا منه لم يكن ممتثلا أمر الله تعالى. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تمضمض واستنشق. So, the first obligation in the wudu is to wash the face completely. To wash the face completely. And from it is the madmada and the istinshaq. And that is the bringing the water back to the back of the throat and gargling. To gargle the water, bring it back here, and to spit it out. And the istinshaq is taking the water up here in the nose with the right hand and blowing it out with the left. This is from the face. This is part of the face. And whoever washes his face and doesn't make the madmaga or the istinshaq or one of them, then their wudu is not correct. Because the mouth and the nose are from the face. The mouth and the nose are from the face. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, so, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ, wash your faces. And he obligated washing the whole face. And whoever leaves off something from it, then he is not acted in accordance with the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make the madmada and the istinshaq. الثاني الشرط الثاني, the second condition, غسل اليدين مع المرفقين لقوله تعالى وأيديكم إلى المرافق, أي مع المرافق, لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أدار الماء على مرفقيه. وفي حديث آخر غسل يديه حتى أشرع في العضد مما يدل على دخول المرفقين في المقصود. And the second condition is washing the hands up to the elbow. Washing the hands from the fingertips up to right past the elbow. And this is because the Prophet ﷺ, he used to do so. And in another hadith, he said that the Prophet ﷺ used to wash his hands up until all the way up his arm. So he went past his elbow. والثالث, the third condition, مسح الرأس كله. مسح الرأس كله. The third condition is wiping over the whole entire head. wiping over the whole entire head. ومنه الأذنان لقوله تعالى فامسحوا برؤوسكم. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم الأذنان من الرأس. رواه ابن ماجه والدارقطني وغيرهما. فلا يجزي ولا يجزي مسح بعض الرأس. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. And the third condition is wiping the whole entire head and the ears. The two ears are from the head. And this is in accordance with the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So wipe your heads. So wipe your heads. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that the two ears are from the head. The hadith is mudraj. You speaking to me or you speaking to everyone else? Jazakumullah khairan. Now, you're absolutely right. And I think that the Sheikh is going to mention that. I'm staying in order with what's mentioned here by Sheikh Al-Fawzan, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala. I'm using his work today. When we're talking about the ahkam, the order is not really important until we get into sequence. Sequential order is important, but not always when we speak in general. It's not necessarily necessary that you will find everyone who comes with this, every teacher, every alim, every instructor or imam. He's not going to always bring these conditions in order. But when it comes to sequence, that which is sequential, then you're going to find them in order. Because that's also from the conditions, which we'll arrive to shortly. Now, so this is also a proof that a woman should cover her ears because the ears are from the head. The ears are from the head. والرابع غسل الرجلين مع الكعبين لقوله تعالى وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين وإلى بمعنى مع وذلك للأحاديث الواردة في صفة الوضوء فإنها تدل على دخول الكعبين في المغسول. The fourth condition is washing the feet along with the ankles. Along with the ankles. Washing the feet along with the ankles. And this is in accordance with the statement of Allah. And your 2 feet up to the ankles, which means including. And that is in accordance with the hadith that have come concerning the description of the wudu. For verily they are indicative of the ankles being included with the feet. And the fifth condition, والخامس الترتيب, meaning the sequence, what we just mentioned. بأن يغسل الوجه أولا ثم اليدين ثم يمسح الرأس ثم يغسل رجليه لقوله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. And this is in accordance with the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, O you who believe, when you stand for the prayer, when you get ready to establish the prayer, then wash your faces and your hands up to the elbow Then wipe your heads and your feet up to the ankles. Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hassan, كيف الحال? Ramadan Mubarak. So, the sequence is from the conditions. That you wash the face first, then the hands, then you wipe the head, and then you wash the feet. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رتب الوضوء على هذه الكيفية وقال هذا وضوء لا يقبل الله الصلاة إلا به رواه أبو داود وغيره. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is how he ordered the wudu to be done in this order. And he said, this is wudu. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept the salah except with it. So Allah will not accept the salah except with it. And this has been narrated by Abu Dawood and other than him. Okay, and number six. I'm just checking for questions. I'm not going to even worry about the questions on there because Hanif is taking care of that. Barakallahu fihi. So we need to get them on the line. Okay, now we discussed that a little bit. Someone asked a question about adding things to water when they want to purify themselves, like oils, for example, essential oils, like tea tree oil and things like that. What do you say about that, Hanif? What do you say about that, Hanif? People who make istinjat and they add tea tree oil and things like that to the water. While I let Hanif answer that question, I'm going to continue. The sixth condition is al-muwalat, وهي أن يكون غسل الأعضاء المذكورة متواليا بحيث لا يفصل بين غسل وضوء وغسل العضو الذي قبله بل يتابع غسل الأعضاء الواحدة تلو الآخر حسب الإمكان. So what he said is that there's a difference of opinion between the Hanafi scholars and the majority of the scholars. He said that there's a difference of opinion. The correct position is that it is not allowed. You must use water alone in order to perform the ablution. But for the removal of impurities, you can use water with addition to other things. Barakallahu feek, hafidhakallah. And this is exactly what we mentioned earlier when we went over the different types of water. And it's very important that we go back and revisit that. And maybe I'll do it again. Or maybe we'll do it again because it's important so that we know water, the ruling of water, the different types of water, the fact that water is pure within itself and it purifies other than it so long as its composition does not change. And this is something that can change the composition. So that can only be used in certain instances. And it should be avoided in others. Okay. Naam. Okay. Now, number 6 is succession. And this means to wash the organs successively without any interval between washing the two body parts. The body parts must be washed successively without pause as much as possible. Meaning you should go from one part to the next. You should go from one part to the next. So a person shouldn't wash his hands and his mouth and then go away for some time and do some other things and come back and then wash his nose or face. It should be done mutawaliyan. هذه فروض الوضوء التي لا بد منها فيه على وفق ما ذكره الله في كتابه. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته Sheikh Yahya. Now, so these obligations, these are the obligations of wudu that is a must. It is a must that they be present. It is a must that they be present. And this is in accordance with or in agreement with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in his book. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in his book. وقد اختلف العلماء في حكم في حكم التسمية في ابتداء الوضوء هل هي واجبة أو سنة. And the scholars have different. There's a difference of opinion amongst the scholars as it relates to the ruling of the tasmiyah, saying Bismillah. We have the tasmiyah and the basmala, and they're different. And some people use them interchangeably, and that's not always the case. The tasmiyah is to simply say Bismillah, wherein the basmala is to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is known as the basmala, and the tasmiyah is to just say Bismillah. So we use the tasmiyah when we eat. We say Bismillah. As the Prophet ﷺ, he says, Sammillah wa kul bi yaminik wa kul mimma yalik. Mention Allah's name, say Bismillah, eat with your right hand and eat from that which is in front of you. Right? So we don't say grace. We don't make a long dua and hold our hands and everyone hold it. No, we say Bismillah and eat. But you'll find people doing that. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and so on and so forth. So the scholars have differed as it relates to saying Bismillah at the beginning of wudu. Is it wajib or is it sunnah? Is it a must that it be done? Is it obligatory or is it sunnah? فهي عند الجميع مشروعة ولا ينبغي تركها وصفتها أن يقول بسم الله وإن زال الرحمن الرحيم فلا بأس. So it is, the scholars, they disagreed about this issue, and it's a must that one doesn't abandon it, and it is to simply say Bismillah. And if a person was to increase by saying Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, then the Shaykh, he says, then there's no problem in that. There's no problem in that. وَالْحِكْمَةُ وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ في اختصاص هذه الأعضاء الأربع بالوضوء لأنها أسرع ما يتحرك من البدن. And the wisdom behind these four particular body parts being specified in the wudu, because they are the most the busiest parts of the body. لاكتساب الذنوب, the parts of the body that are the quickest to make sin. The quickest to make sin. It is a legislated. No. I didn't translate the part. And it's something that they say as far as saying Bismillah, that it is something legislated. The Basmala is something that is legislated. And it's a must that you don't leave it off. So it's something legislated and you must say it. And it's simply to say Bismillah. And if a person was to increase by saying Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, then no problem. And we mentioned that. Let me check any other questions. Okay. فكان في تطهير ظاهرها تنبيه على تطهير باطنها وقد أخبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أن المسلم كلها غسل عضو منها حط عنه كل خطية أصابها بذلك العضو فإنها تخرج خطاياه من الماء أو مع آخر قطر الماء. نعم. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته بلال. Now, so their physical purification, wiping these parts, is an indication of spiritual purification, meaning from sin. And the Prophet ﷺ has stated that whenever a Muslim washes one of these parts, when a person is making wudu and washes one of these parts, the sins or the mistakes that were committed through them are remitted. And that such misdeeds fall and vanish with the flow of the water used for use, that the sins go away with the water that leaves from those parts. Okay. Now, yes, when you make wudu, the water, the sins fall off with the water. As the water drops, inshallah, so do the sins. ثم أرشد صلى الله عليه وسلم بعد غسل هذه الأعضاء إلى تجديد الإيمان بالشهادتين إشارة إلى الجمع بين الطهارة وبين الحسية والمعنوية So after the Prophet ﷺ directed, after washing these parts, to renew one's iman, the renewal of the iman. And this is by saying or reciting the shahadatain, the testimony of faith. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Pointing to the bringing together or the coming together of the physical and spiritual, combining between the physical and spiritual. فالحسية تكون بالماء على الصفة التي بينها الله في كتابه من غسل هذه الأعضاء والمعنوية تكون بالشهادتين اللتين تطهران من الشرك. وقد قال تعالى في آخر آية الوضوء ما يريد الله ليجعل عليكم من حرج ولكن يريد ليطهركم وليتم نعمته عليكم لعلكم تشكرون. Now, and after this hissiyah with ma, or this physical purification, it occurs with water, with the description that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in his book, with that which was mentioned in his book, from washing those particular body parts. And the spiritual purification, it happens by way of the testimony of faith, the shahada, that which purifies the two testimonies. They purify from shirk. They purify from shirk. So the hissiyah, the physical purification, is done with water. And the spiritual purification is taken care of by way of the shahada. And this is to cleanse one from polytheism. From polytheism. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in the end of the verse of wudu, ما يريد الله ليجعل عليكم من حرج ولكن يريد ليطهركم ويتم نعمته عليكم لعلكم تشكرون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah does not intend to make things difficult for you. Allah doesn't want difficulty for you, but He intends to purify you and to complete His favor upon you, that you may be grateful. That you may be grateful. وهكذا أيها المسلم شرع الله لك الوضوء ليطهرك به من خطاياك وليتم به نعمته عليك. So with that, O Muslim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has legislated the wudu in order to purify you, with it from sins, and in order to complete His favor upon you, Now, okay, did we miss any questions? Let me see if we've, I think Hanif is taking care of all of those questions. Let me check the phone line. No. Okay. All right. Someone was asked, does the wudu, making wudu and the shahada afterwards, does it wipe away, or the sins that fall off, are they the minor or the major sins? And that's a good question. And we always have to know that things like this, they remove the minor sins. They remove the minor sins. The major sins can only be removed by tawbah. They can only be removed by tawbah. Right? So if a person wants to be free from major sins, he has to make tawbah. And he has to come with the conditions of tawbah. And that's something that we need to touch on too in the near future. So this is minor sins and not major sins. إن أمتي يدعون يوم القيامة غررا. نعم. نعم. ما شاء الله تبارك وتعالى. Okay. Okay, now we're going to move towards the acts of sunnah. The acts of sunnah. The acts of sunnah. Number one is السواك. وتقدم بيان فضيلته وكيفيته ومحلها عند المضمضة ليحصل به وبالمضمضة تنظيف الفم لاستقبال العبادة والتوحيد لتلاوة القرآن ومناجاة الله. Now, so the first sunnah action in the wudu is using the toothstick. And we already mentioned the virtue of it and how it's done and its place in the madmada when we do the mouth and gargle, and what is attained by way of it, what is accomplished, and that is cleaning the mouth, and in order to be prepared for worship. And in order to recite the book of Allah, and protection from Allah, and protection from Allah. Now, number 2, غسل الكفين ثلاثا في أول الوضوء قبل غسل الوجه لورود الأحاديث به ولأن اليدين آلة نقل الماء إلى الأعضاء وفي غسلها احتياط لجميع الوضوء. Now, and the second is washing the hands 3 times. Washing the hands 3 times in the beginning of the wudu, in the first part of the wudu, before you do the face. Before you do the face. And this is mentioned in various hadith connected to it. And this is because the hands are the tool that is used for carrying the water to the other parts of the body. This is the tool that is used in order to carry the water to the other parts of the body. So it's sunnah to wash the hands before you even start. Third is البداية بالمضمضة والاستنشاق قبل غسل الوجه لوضوء البداية بهما في الأحاديث ويبالغ فيها إن كان غير صائم ومعنى المبالغة في المضمضة إدارة الماء في جميع فمه وفي الاستنشاق جذب الماء إلى أقصى أنفه. Now, so, and number 3 is to begin with rinsing the mouth, gargling in the mouth and throat, and taking the water into the nose, and this is before washing the face. Because of the hadith mentioning starting with this, because of the hadith that mentioned starting with this. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good night. Now, as this was stated in many hadith, except for the one who is fasting. Except for the one who is fasting. Now, and what this means is, like we said, taking the water all the way back here, gargling with it, filling the entire mouth, and taking the water into the furthest part of the nose, in the back of the nose, and blowing out hard. And these are acts of sunnah. رابعا ومن سنن الوضوء تخليل اللحية الخشيفة بالماء حتى يبلغ داخلها وتخليل أصابع اليدين والرجلين. And number four is, this from the sunnah aspects of the wudu, is going through the lihya, taking your fingers and running it through your beard. Taking your fingers and running it through the beard. Right? Doing this with water so that it goes inside between the beard. And also going in between the fingers and the toes. This is also from the sunnah. And when it says تخليل اللحية الخشيفة, it basically means قطيفة. Nah, no wonder. قطيفة. It means the thick beard. You know, like mine. So if a person had a big beard, then you would go in between with your fingers. خامسا التيامن وهو البدء باليمنى من اليدين والرجلين قبل اليسرى. التيامن, and it means to begin with the right, starting with the right hand and the right foot before the left. So starting with the right side before you go to the left. This is also from the Sunnah. سادسا, number 6, الزيادة على الغسلة الواحدة إلى 3 غسلات في غسل الوجه واليدين والرجلين. Now, okay, what was that? Let me check. Okay. Okay. Now, this is the sixth and final one. Okay. This is زيادة على غسل الواحدة إلى 3 غسلات في. Okay. And this is to wash the parts of the body, the face, the hands, and the feet 3 times. Up to 3 times. From 1 time up to 3 times. From 1 time up to 3 times. From 1 time up to 3 times. And this is the obligations and the sunnah aspects and the conditions of wudu. And inshallah, we'll get into the characteristics of wudu, how we should actually make the wudu. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Any questions that we haven't already answered? Any questions, comments, corrections? Then, by all means, now's the time. Well, now, since Ramadan started, we're going to be going on around 9:15, 9:20. And that's because we were doing it right after Maghrib, and the times was varying. People were praying at different times, and now people are fasting, and the people are starting to break their fast later, so Maghrib is later. So we give people enough time to pray and eat. So we try to go on between Maghrib and Isha. We'll try to keep them short, but we usually hang around and enjoy each other's presence and, ask questions and, kick around some ideas and plans and, just some fraternization between brothers and from different communities and families and, just sitting around getting to know one another and seeing what we can do to better our condition. And the Shaykh, he made dua for us. نسأل الله لنا ولك المزيد من العلم النافع والعمل الصالح. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us and for you that He increases us in beneficial knowledge and righteous actions. Ameen. So yeah, inshallah, now, at least for the next couple of days, we'll be trying to get on around 9:15, 9:20. We're going to try to make them short and sweet, man, so people can enjoy their families, and people who want to eat can't really go out, so people who want to eat iftar or have a meal or something light and then come to the class, then we want to do that. And I'm assuming that that's it. And if we missed anything, or if anyone has any questions or comments or constructive criticism, deconstructive, doesn't matter. We can take it. We want it because it only helps us help you. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.